Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, for another YouTube video. Allincrypto here, and today we are going to be talking about Tesla. Now, I've been wanting to make a video, a comprehensive price prediction video on Tesla for a little while. We have mentioned it a couple of times in our daily market updates, our crypto daily market updates. We are predominantly in the cryptocurrency space, but we also venture into the equity market, certainly as it relates to the tech sector, because there's great opportunities in it. Amazon is something that we've been long since the $120 range. We've ultimately got, I think it's 261 price targets for that, $261 price targets for that. Today, we're going to be delivering a Tesla price prediction. And the reason that we've looked at Tesla and we look at equities as it relates to crypto is because we think crypto is basically a higher beta equity play. Certainly, if you look at Bitcoin with the QQQ, the 3x leveraged NASDAQ, I think it's offered by Wisdom Tree, perhaps. It could be VanEck, one of the two. Not that it makes that much difference. Both their fees on their sort of ETFs are pretty good, but I digress. So the reason that we look at equities is we think if there's a good time for equities and generally there's a good macro environment, crypto is going to do really well. And we speak a lot about the macro environment, which is also going to see Tesla flourish and potentially, in our opinion, get to $505. There's a number of patterns that give us confluence in regards to Tesla's chart specifically, but more broadly in regards to the kind of macroeconomic environment that we are certainly moving into. We think there's every reason to expect risk to do well. And I think Tesla is going to be a very good performer and surprise many people. It hasn't quite recovered to the same manner sort of post 2022 that others have, but I think its time to perform is upon us. And certainly, I know many people that are positioning accordingly. And today was a great video to do a Tesla price prediction video because we had an article from CNBC that say Tesla says it will launch full self-driving products in Europe and China early next year. Tesla said its full self-driving service, a paid add-on driver assistance feature, is slated for launch in Europe and China in the first quarter of 2025, pending regulatory approval. Tesla is yet to receive regulatory permission to launch its FSD, full self-driving, product in Europe and China. In July, Tesla CEO Elon Musk, said he expects to get regulatory clearance for technology in the two regions by the end of 2024. Now, this could be some fundamental news that ultimately sees what we're going to be looking at technically playing out. But I want to pivot. This is the future, guys. Certainly in regards to AI, there's going to be a crossover in regards to self-driving vehicles. There's many reasons out there why self-driving vehicles are going to be a thing. One, of course, it's going to reduce deaths around the world significantly. There would be a problem. There's always yins and yangs in life. If you solved sort of car crash deaths or car-related deaths, there would be another problem in regards to organ donation that would pop up because the majority of organs get donated from car crash victims. So that's a problem we'd have to solve later on down the line. And with technology, maybe we figure out a way to grow them. Who knows? Future speculating. But there's that aspect of things in regards to safety. There's a totalitarian world that technology is going to enable that we're moving towards, which I'm sorry to sort of inform people about, which, they're going to want self-driving cars for that reason, certainly in regards to restricting certain individuals. And there's also the kind of efficiency nature of it, because if you look at cars, like with most technologies, there's always inefficiencies that are introduced. And one is that most people's cars probably sit dormant 95% of the time. And with technologies like self-driving cars, you can come up with networks where, you essentially run algorithms and maximize the efficiency of car output in regards to the human usage of it. And I think Tesla are going to play a role in certainly three of these aspects and are really the play in regards to the kind of evolution of the motoring industry, in my opinion. Certainly with their electricity and the electric car side of things, that's also massive. They're going to be huge. They really are going to be a staple. They already are a staple stock. If you look at why the US is as important as it is, it's largely due to the technology companies that reside in it, and they'll further them, they'll propagate them, and they'll back them, and ultimately, in often cases, have a hand in their success. So we will, and we definitely are going to be looking at Tesla from a price point of view. We'll be giving you our target. There is the scope, depending on what happens, for higher targets, but we won't really talk about them until it's necessary to do so. we have huge success in regards to predicting what the market's going to do. But in order for Tesla to do well, there has to be a kind of macro environment that supports it. And we think, certainly in regards to how the dollar is signaled, the Dixie predominantly, that is going to be the case. When we look at global liquidity cycles, PMI cycles, Euro business cycles, whatever it may be, election cycles, they all point to a good time ahead. Certainly the global liquidity index cycle that is largely being followed. People were very much clowning cross-border capital for his work on this, but he went all the way back to the 1970s to show that there is a general cyclical nature to global liquidity. And ultimately, if global liquidity is increasing, that's typically a good time for the risk asset class. And we think the main driver of this predominantly is going to be the direction of the Dixie. We've done, and it's not for this video, we cover it to death on our daily market updates, a lot of work on our direction that we think the Dixie is ultimately heading in. And typically with risk, when the dollar is strong, risk is weak. It's very fundamental. When the dollar is weak, risk is strong. And we think we're entering a significant period of dollar downside. We don't just get this from the Dixie chart and the patterns it's setting up. We also get this from the Euro USD, which is very much going in the direction that we expected it to. GBP USD. We can show you so many charts all going in the direction that we want it to. You can look at the JPY USD, which I think has bottomed and now going to see further upside. The AUD USD, which is the Australian dollar. You can see this very much basing, ready for upside, ready for a breakout to that upside. And even the CAD, which is a little bit further behind, all pointing towards dollar weakness, certainly Dixie weakness, which should be bullish for the risk markets. And of course, Tesla is going to do well in that environment, not only fundamentally, but also we think technically. And the pattern that I really want to identify to start things off, we're going to start on the smaller pattern before we go to the larger. Let's drop down the time frames even more. It's highlighting this on my Patrons. I highlighted on my daily market update because, of course, if equities are going to do well, crypto is going to do even better. And whether you're into crypto or not, you should be. This technology has real staying power, just like the internet and the dawn of it. And is going to offer, I believe, multiples in regards to ROI. Now, those of you that are traditional equity investors and traders and Forex sort of traders, or perhaps sort of more short to mid-term investors, just brace yourself for the crypto space because it is just, I wouldn't recommend trading it, put it that way. Certainly stay the hell away from leverage. It's just, you're not made of hard enough stuff, I'm afraid. And if you look at the majority of people that claim to be leveraged crypto traders, just ask for a P&L and you'll find they're too and far between. But in regards to Tesla, we've identified an inverse head and shoulder here, which his neckline is here. You can see your left armpit, your right armpit. You can see this, your right shoulder formation. You did have a close of this gap that was, of course, caused by the JPY unwind a couple of Mondays ago. But ultimately, I think this is going to, certainly once you trigger this, set up broader continuation that is going to see Tesla run all the way to $505. That's a technical target that we are given for this inverse head and shoulders. And certainly when we look on a bigger time frame, you can see there is a bit more of a macro double bottom here. You can see this is your left butt cheek, your nicer, more rounded, we all like a round butt cheek, right butt cheek. And there is ultimately, so not only do you have this pattern that would give you a higher target, there is also a bit of a squeeze taking place here in regards to Tesla as well. So there's a number of things technically that lead us to believe that Tesla is moving towards, or certainly going to see upside in the more longer out, short, mid to longer term. We think this is going to be driven by the macro environment. Our price prediction is $505. Ultimately, we think there's a number of confluence things in regards to, or things that give us confidence in regards to technically. And of course, fundamentally, we spoke about a macro driver in regards to the macroeconomic environment. And we've also spoken about why Tesla is going to be such a big thing. Many people will be somewhat skeptical, but do become a subscriber of the channel. We bring you lots more equities. The likes of Amazon was something we called a very similar thing for down here in the 120s. And ultimately, this has played out and still has that $206 target to come. So our price prediction for Tesla is $505. And we think you could potentially see that at some point next year. There's definitely the scope to actually see higher prices come in. But we can deal with that at a later date. Based on that inverse head and shoulders that we are identifying, we think you're going to see a $505 Tesla price. Now, we've covered technically, macroeconomically, and fundamentally why we think it's going to achieve it. Let's now see if it plays out. And do become a subscriber to the channel so that you guys can tell me when we're either wrong or right. On that note, ladies and gentlemen, I am going to love and leave you. If you've enjoyed this content, a like is always greatly appreciated. So is a comment. Don't forget to become a subscriber, and I will see you all in the next one. Thanks a lot for watching, guys. See you in the next YouTube video.